Bon, allez, là, la coup de Sacha, fais un truc, s'il te plaît. Salut, c'est Space 9. Ça va, tu vas bien ce matin? Bah, je critique pas, je dis juste ça comme ça. Pourquoi t'as choisi ce pseudo? Ah bah oui, d'accord. Je comprends mieux. Non, mais y a pas de lézard. Y a pas de lézard. Tu peux t'appeler comme tu veux. 69. J'ai compris. Ah là 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 là. Bon, bah oui, t'as vu? J'ai, j'ai, hier, j'ai charbonné, j'ai regardé plein de tutos et tout. J'ai fait, mais la déco est absolument incroyable. Je suis là, un petit hobbit et tout. Là, on voit, il y a la Mountain of Doom. Là, il y a l'œil de Sauron. Et là, il y a le chat sur un parchemin. Mais que demander de mieux, en fait? En plus, c'est écrit en comics sans MS. Voilà. En fait, je voulais rajouter d'autres trucs aussi, mais bon, je vais pas. Ça allait être un peu chargé, sinon déjà qu'on voit pas très bien. Merci, ça fait plaisir. Bon, tu veux pas appeler tes potes pour qu'ils viennent aussi? Parce que sinon, bon, viens, Sacha, on commence tous les deux, hein. Y a pas, y a pas de mal. Mais d'ailleurs, est-ce que le micro, il est trop fort ou pas? Genre où ça va? Parce que je peux régler un peu. Là, il va jusque dans le rouge, donc je suis pas sûre. Je descends. Ah oui, c'est bien là. Ok, super. Ah, génial. Bon, bah, Sacha, je pense qu'on peut commencer. Donc voilà, je nous ai préparé dans mes petits à regarder plus tard là. Hop. Je nous ai préparé, voilà, des petites vidéos. Je pense que on peut regarder Tywin Lannister Best Scenes. Honnêtement, je pense que ça peut être bien. Je sais pas, t'en penses quoi? Qu'est-ce que vous en pensez là, les frères? On met ça? Allez, c'est parti.
Salut, tu veux
Oh,
me rencontrer?
les pubs sur YouTube, c'est vraiment la fin de ma vie.
Le programme du jour.
Ok, échauffement, quoi. Accélération sur 100 mètres, science, ok, 600.
Summoned to court to answer for the crimes of your bannerman, Gregor Clegane, the Mounted.
Bon, est-ce que vous entendez le... Merci Sacha. Est-ce que t'entends le son de la vidéo? Est-ce que vous entendez le son de la vidéo? Ok, bah je vais baisser ça tout de suite. Alors, audio du bureau. Voilà, je suis à peu près là. On va voir. C'est bien là.
Arrive within the fortnight, I'll be branded an enemy of the crown. Hornet Stark, brave man, terrible judgment.
Attacking him was stupid.
Ok, attends, on va mettre du début.
Summoned to court to answer for the crimes of your bannerman, Gregor Clegane, the Mountain. Arrive within the fortnight, I'll be branded an enemy of the crown. Hornet Stark, brave man, terrible judgment.
Je vais mettre les sous-titres pour ceux qui sont pas super anglais, anglais et tout genre. Oh, Léa! Salut! Léa, c'est Léa qui est là. Bah du coup Léa, on va pas faire du Tomodachi Life. On va plutôt regarder on va faire un react à des vidéos Game of Thrones. Voilà. Si vous avez des idées de react qu'on pourrait faire, n'hésitez pas à les mettre dans le chat. Comme ça, j'y penserai. Je fais pas les mouvements dans le bon sens parce que, genre, à côté, j'ai mon iPad. À côté, j'ai mon iPad. Bon, ça chute et tout. À côté, j'ai mon iPad avec gestionnaire de live dessus, avec le chat, comment ça rend, machin et tout. Sauf que je regarde toujours là, du coup, sauf que c'est là qu'il faut que je regarde. Bon, c'est pas grave, allez, on remet la vidéo. Et en plus, là, c'est rigolo parce que, en fait, là, t'as Tywin Lannister, il est en train de faire un truc, et en fait, il parle d'un autre truc, et sauf qu'il s'en fout un peu, du coup, c'est ça qui est drôle.
Attacking him was stupid.
Vas-y. C'est moi, t'as rien à dire.
Lannisters, don't act like fools.
Oh, j'espère que je vais pas être cancel pour du gore.
You gonna say something clever? Go on, say something clever.
C'est pour ça que c'est GOAT, en fait. Je sais pas quoi
Catelyn
dire.
Stark took my brother.
C'est de
Why is he still
l'estimation.
alive?
Tyrion?
Ned Stark.
One of our men interfered. Speared him through the leg before I could finish him.
Why is he still alive?
Bon,
It wouldn't have been clean.
la vidéo est un peu nulle. Il y a qui? 6 viewers, putain, yes, 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 yes. Bon, on se fait un peu chier sur cette vidéo-là. Je sais pas vous. Vous en pensez quoi? Bon, dites-moi là. Parce que j'ai aussi les plus gros moments de Game of Thrones. Top 5, top 25 best moments Game of Thrones. Top 20. Alors, le top 20 moments satisfaisants Game of Thrones, je pense que ça va être super. Je pense qu'on peut se regarder ça. Bon, allez, c'est parti. En plus, c'est pour des écoles de merde, d'écoles.
Accused of treason. How do you answer these charges? Lord Baelish.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 satisfying moments in Game of Thrones.
Sir Brienne of Tarth, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
For this list, we're looking at standout moments on this HBO fantasy series that checked all.
Bon, moi j'ai pas. C'est quoi cet énorme verre? Mais mon énorme verre, c'est ma super pinte d'Ice-Tea. Oui, c'est haché, ouais, on est d'accord. C'est le bazar destiné à Sacha Gavin. Je viens pas, on a perdu des viewers. On avait 6 viewers, maintenant on en a 5. Non, non. Je voulais faire le RP mec qui se frappe parce qu'il est pas content, mais bon. Enfin bref, revenons à la vidéo.
The right boxes for us. And of course, if you haven't watched the show, consider this.
Oui, ce que je voulais dire à la base, c'est que j'ai toujours pas fini la saison 8 de Game of Thrones. Voilà. Mais en vrai, genre, s'il y en a qui veulent vraiment genre pas se faire spoil Game of Thrones, genre dites-le maintenant. Comme ça, on regarde autre chose. Parce que, après, genre, je serais un peu triste spoiler, genre. Merci Léa. Bon, allez, on met la vidéo là, c'est pas grave. De toute façon, il y a 4 viewers là. C'est pas comme si il y avait toute la France qui allait se faire spoiler, puis c'est moi live.
It's your spoiler alert. Any satisfying moments we missed? Let us know in the comments. Number 20. Tyrion slaps Joffrey. Game of Thrones made sure that we hated Joffrey from the beginning. And hate him, we did. But the show also made sure that we got some gratifying moments of comeuppance to go along with it.
Your absence has already been noted.
The boy means nothing to me. Oh, I can't stand the wailing of women.
One word, and I hit you again.
I'm telling Mother.
In the second episode, Joffrey is characteristically unfeeling when Bran falls from the high tower and into a coma. Tyrion, already establishing himself as one of the best characters on the show, corrects him with 3 slaps for the price of 1.
Do you understand?
You can't.
Do you understand?
If you thought
Léa, tu vas vraiment partir? Waouh. Ça me rendrait triste. On peut regarder les Seigneurs des Anneaux sinon. Hein. Mais en fait, mon gestionnaire de stream là est ultra lent. Je me zoome un peu. Peut-être si je rêve toutes les pages derrière, ça irait peut-être un peu plus vite. C'est my bad, c'est my bad. Bon, 3 viewers, ça y est. Attends, Sacha qui m'envoie un truc. Bon, revenons-en à nos oignons.
3 more seasons of Tyrion dealing with his petulant nephew would go slapless, though, think again. After Joffrey is rightfully slung with cow dung, Tyrion has to curb the king's temper tantrum the only way he knows how.
You're talking to a king!
And now I've struck a king. Did my hand fall from my wrist?
Number 19. Jaime saves Brienne. Easily one of the best and most unexpected friendships on Game of Thrones is that of Jaime Lannister and Brienne of Tarth. Granted, Jaime's going through a tough time in Season 3 due to the loss of his hand, but Brienne is surprisingly there to help him through his dark period as he deals with the loss.
When Catelyn Stark released you, we both made a promise to her. Now it's your promise. You gave your word.
Je sais plus si j'ai vu ça.
You, just you, building your app on base 44. Describe it. And it's real. One thought leads to more thought.
Keep it.
It looks like Jaime and Brienne are going to part ways for good, but when the former learns the latter has been put in danger, he races back to rescue her.
Get behind me.
In a twisted recreation of the Bear and the Maiden Fair folk song, Brienne's been callously placed in a pit with the creature. A one-handed Jaime jumps in after her, buying time for both to escape. Number 18. Theon kills Miranda. Ramsay Bolton is easily one of the most despicable characters on the show. And while his servant/lover Miranda doesn't get as many opportunities for evil, their relationship is proof that crazy attracts crazy. During her time on the show, Miranda abets Ramsay in his many sadistic exploits, including turning Theon into the meek and submissive Reek. Theon may not have been the most likable character beforehand, but no one deserves his treatment. So even we were happy to see him get some retribution.
You can't die. Your father was Warden of the North, and Ramsay needs you. Though I suppose he doesn't need all of you.
During a battle at Winterfell, Miranda and Theon corner Sansa, with the former intending to cause serious pain. Finally, Theon stands up for both of them and throws Miranda off the rampart to her doom. Sweet, sweet justice. Number 17, The Cave. Jon Snow has been through quite a lot since leaving Winterfell, but fate finally gave him a break when he met the wildling Ygritte.
Your friends are nowhere close.
I'll find them.
Despite their opposing backgrounds, the two eventually fall for each other. The kiss they share atop the wall is definitely a sweet moment, but it just doesn't compare to when Jon breaks his vow and makes love to her in a cave. There's definitely an abundance of sex in Game of Thrones, but few of those scenes have been as sweet and emotional as this moment in the cave. The intensity of the scene and genuine chemistry between Jon and Ygritte makes the whole affair not only steamy,
Vous savez pas quoi? En fait, ils sont mariés dans la vraie vie. C'est fou, non?
but also quite beautiful. Number 16, Littlefinger throws Lysa through the moon door. Littlefinger is a pretty horrendous person, but at least we enjoy watching his scheming ways. Lysa Arryn, on the other hand, not so much.
It's fascinating what happens to bodies when they hit the rocks from such a height. The impact breaks them right apart, like eggs dropped on the floor.
Lysa has always been a vindictive and jealous woman, especially when it comes to her sister Catelyn and eventual husband Littlefinger. So, when Lysa witnesses Littlefinger creepily kiss Catelyn's daughter Sansa, you know she's gonna throw a hissy fit.
You kissed Peter.
I didn't. You don't understand.
I saw you. You can't lie to me because I saw it with my own eyes.
He kissed me. I pulled a liar.
Blaming the completely wrong person, Lysa threatens to throw Sansa out the Eyrie's moon door to her death hundreds of feet below, but Littlefinger talks her down. In a savagely satisfying moment, Littlefinger outright rejects Lysa's affections before giving her a taste of her own medicine.
I have only loved one woman.
Merci Sacha pour la story.
My entire life. Your sister.
We love wondering what went through her head on the way down. Number 15, Jon's parentage reveals.
Ça, par exemple, j'ai pas vu. Mais bon, pas grave, je suis déjà fait spoil sur TikTok. Bon, au moins, ça me ferait une excuse pour toujours pas regarder la saison 8. J'ai trop fait. C'est vraiment nul. Hein. À partir de genre la moitié de la saison 7, même genre fin saison 7, ça devient insupportable. Genre. Enfin bref. Mais si elle crache, je reviens dès que possible. Y a pas de soucis, Sacha.
Long-standing fan theory was that R plus L equals J meant that the supposed coupling of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark resulted in the birth of Jon Snow. This, of course, would have major implications on the world at large. So imagine our satisfaction when it turned out to be true.
Bon, pas d'alcool sur mon live là.
On dit spritz.
If Robert finds out you kill him, you know he will. You have to protect him. Promise me, Ned. Promise me.
In the season 6 finale, Bran has a vision that takes him to Jon's birth, confirming Lyanna's motherhood. Of course, that was just half of the equation, and it wouldn't be until the next season that Rhaegar's involvement
Mais là, genre, je viens de comprendre un truc, genre, un truc qui est quand même assez obvious. Genre. Je savais pas que la naissance, vous voyez, c'était la naissance de Jon Snow. Et ben,
was confirmed.
attends, c'est ceux qui m'envoient des messages. Désolé, hein, mais c'est mon viewers préféré, donc... Ah si, bon d'accord. Ah c'est bon, il est relâ. Bah oui, j'ai rien suivi, my bad.
which made us even more giddy.
Jon isn't really my father's son. He's the son of Rhaegar Targaryen and my aunt Lyanna Stark.
Still, it was a bit of a double-edged sword, as with it came the knowledge that Dany is Jon's aunt, which makes the same episode very complicated. Number 14, Brienne is knighted. Season 8 was and remains very polarizing, but one moment fans can agree works completely is Brienne being knighted.
You're not the knight?
Women can't be knights.
Why not?
Tradition.
As a woman,
j'adore Tormund. C'est le GOAT.
Brienne's dream of knighthood would...
Sûrement genre top 5 personnages préférés Game of Thrones. Genre c'est trop le GOAT. Il est trop drôle. En fait genre, Game of Thrones tout le monde est super sérieux, nanana, nanana. Et là t'as Tormund pour un peu de fun, quoi. Parce que sinon on se fait chier. Hein. Voilà.
is consistently scoffed at, despite her being worthier and more capable than most men. After Brienne vouches for Jaime's character to the Queen of Dragons herself, Jaime later returns the favor and rights a wrong that's much overdue.
You don't need a king. Any knight can make another knight.
Mais les gens TikTok, faut qu'ils se fassent foutre un peu. Ils savent pas ce qui est bien.
I'll prove it.
In the lead-up to the Battle of Winterfell, the subject of Brienne's knighthood is brought up. Realizing he has the authority to change her status, Jaime has Brienne kneel and knights her himself.
Arise, Brienne of Tarth, a knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
Hey! A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, en fait, je pense que c'est... Après, ils ont fait la série A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Je crois que c'est une référence. On est 3. Ah non, bah non, on est que 2 là. Bah c'est bon,
It's an emotional moment, and seeing the pure joy in Brienne's eyes is everything we could have wanted. Number 13, Tyrion kills Tywin. Tywin Lannister is both a ruthless tyrant and a complete badass. We certainly...
J'aimerais bien prochain live. Oui, bah c'est bon. Bah, ils disent exactement de la même manière. Bon, on s'en fout. Je pense que pour le prochain live, je vais mettre un truc genre live, je sais pas quel jeu les gens ils aiment bien regarder machin, mais je vais mettre ça genre dans la description du live. Comme ça, il y a plein de gens, ils vont venir et vont voir. C'est juste des règles de merde. Voilà. Mais c'est qui les deux viewers? J'arrive pas à voir.
Respect him for his ability to command and his unrelenting devotion to the legacy of his house.
Hold fast! Hold fast!
What are you doing? We need to attack them!
Hold fast!
However, fans will likely never forgive him for his treatment of his son Tyrion. Humiliated and verbally abused his whole life, Tyrion's breaking point comes when he realizes that his own father has not only sentenced him to death, but also turned the love of his life Shay against him and slept with her. As expected, Tyrion is both enraged and heartbroken by this revelation, and this ultimately leads to the father-son confrontation in a privy that would be their last. A Lannister always pays his debts.
You're no son of mine. I am your son. I have always been your son.
Bon,
Number 12.
Je suis désolée, mais la modération automatique a cancel un de tes messages. Quand tu as écrit là, t'es tranquille et on fuck ta cata. Donc, je suis désolée, Sacha, mais les prochains, tu devrais t'abstenir d'écrire des messages comme ça la prochaine fois. Parce que, attention, c'est non, hein, tu vas te faire ban du live. Attention, hein, je te préviens. Sacha, je te préviens.
Daenerys rides Drogon. We knew it was only a matter of time before Dany got on the back of one of her dragons, but Game of Thrones definitely made us wait for it. Still, when it finally happened in Season 5, no one was complaining.
J'ai envoyé un message. C'était quoi là déjà?
Here, Dany is watching battles in Meereen's fighting pit when the sons of the Harpy suddenly attack. Outnumbered, it looks like some of our favorite characters will perish when they hear the fortuitous sound of a dragon.
J'espère qu'ils vont faire le moment où Jon Snow est sauvé par Uncle Benjamin, qui se sort de nulle part.
In swoops Drogon, who begins decimating the nascent threat. As if the moment wasn't badass enough, Dany finally manages to tame Drogon into letting her ride him out of the pit.
Bien joué. Oui, je crois qu'on se fout un peu de ce moment. Genre, ok, t'es pas juste après, voilà. Oh, mais qu'est-ce qui va se passer? Est-ce qu'il va s'en sortir?
This
bon, au final,
is Game of Thrones fan service done right. Number 11, Jon's resurrection.
Apologies for what you're about to see.
Jon Snow's murder practically broke the internet, as fans were forced to wait until season 6 to find out if their favorite bastard would eventually be brought back to life. Resurrection was always a possibility in the minds of eager fans, especially after we saw what the Red Priests could do thanks to the power of the Lord of Light.
But not today.
At the urging of Sir Davos, Melisandre attempts to bring the fallen Lord Commander back from the dead. Alas, the Red Woman seems to have failed, and as the episode draws to a close, we're treated to a lingering shot of Jon's corpse, which ends when he draws his first breath of new life. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief as Jon's eyes finally reopened.
Regardez cette tête.
Number 10, Olenna's confession.
Oh, encore des pubs. Ça me saoule. Ouais, c'est blague.
Probably more than any other character, Olenna Tyrell is one we could have used more from, even though she makes it all the way to season 7. But while several Game of Thrones favorites meet their ends, no one goes out like an absolute boss quite like Olenna.
I did unspeakable things to protect my family, or watch them being done on my orders. I never lost a night's sleep over them.
After Jaime leads the Lannister forces in easily taking Highgarden, Olenna knows her time has come. Despite being critical of Jaime and Cersei, Olenna gets the former to give her a painless poison. Set in motion Olenna proudly reveals that she was the one who killed Joffrey and set in motion so much suffering for the
Tu pouvais grave le deviner littéralement, genre l'épisode d'après la mort de Joffrey, genre. Enfin bref.
Lannisters. Before dying, she tells Jaime to make sure Cersei knows.
Je sais pas si tout le monde l'avait deviné, mais en tout cas moi oui. Enfin bref, je sais pas. Pourquoi il y a plus personne qui parle dans le chat là? Parlez un peu, enfin je sais pas.
It was her.
Tell Cersei. I wanted to know it was me.
Mic dropped. Number 9, The King in the North.
You were named for my Aunt Lyanna, who said she was a great beauty. I'm sure you will be too.
I doubt it. My mother wasn't a great beauty or any other kind of beauty. She was a great warrior, though.
The breakout character from the 6th season was by far the young ruler of Bear Island. Yes, she may be a small child, but we soon learn that Lyanna Mormont has more guts than most of the Northern Lords combined, and does not take crap from anyone.
Why should I sacrifice one more Mormont life for someone else's war?
She's one of the first to pledge her loyalty to Jon, but her crowning moment comes after the reclaiming of Winterfell, where she calls out all those that failed to align themselves with the Starks, only to then inspire them by proclaiming Jon Snow to be the true king in the North. For such a little girl, she sure makes one hell of an impact.
We know no king, but the king in the North whose name is Stark.
Bon d'accord.
I don't care if he's a bastard. Ned Stark's blood runs through his veins. He's my king.
Alors, je t'arrête tout de suite. Ça, je suis pas sûre en fait. Ned Stark, son sang dans ses veines. Bon, qui lui dit?
This day until his last day.
Number 8, A Crown for a King.
Keep away from me.
Viserys, please.
Viserys Targaryen is not a good brother by any stretch of the imagination. hiding behind his name and selling his own sister in exchange for an army. He believes he's owed the Iron Throne as a birthright. Unfortunately, his plans come undone when Daenerys and her Dothraki husband Khal Drogo end up actually falling in love. In a drunken rage, Viserys threatens her unborn child during a celebration. This proves to be a fatal mistake, as Khal Drogo doesn't take too kindly to this.
No! No! You cannot touch me!
He has his blood riders break Viserys' arm before they hold him down and give him the crown he's always wanted, in the form...
Salut Beluguet. Merci. C'est qui? Bah là écoute, on est rendu, ça fait 14 minutes qu'on regarde cette vidéo. Et puis bah là c'est quand le frère de Daenerys il se fait niquer sa mère. Voilà.
Of burning hot molten gold. That's gotta hurt.
A crown for a king.
Ah oui, voilà.
Number 7. Cersei burns them all. Cersei became the real villain of Game of Thrones in the later seasons, and seeing her reap what she sowed at the hands of the High Sparrow does lead to some satisfying moments here and there. However, Cersei's inevitable rise back to power leads to one of the show's most shocking...
Excuse-moi, Sacha, mais le pseudo de Clara est génial. Voilà, enfin, on peut parler sur ton pseudo, hein, si tu veux.
Moments, so much so that we can't not be satisfied by it.
Cersei understands the consequences of her absence, and she is absent anyway, which means she does not intend to suffer those consequences. The trial can wait. We all need to leave.
With Cersei set to be put on trial, virtually everyone is gathered in the Great Sept. However, with Cersei's absence...
Je comprends pourquoi ils mettent cette scène-là dans Satisfying Scenes. Genre, c'est absolument pas satisfying parce que, ok, il y a des gros bâtards qui sont dedans, mais il y avait aussi Marjorie dedans. Et Marjorie. Bon bah, salut Clara. Boy boy. Boy boy.
It becomes evident something else is brewing. Indeed, a cache of wildfire is ignited, obliterating the Sept and taking out all of Cersei's enemies in King's Landing in one fell swoop.
En vrai, genre, la scène est satisfaisante parce que genre, ça va genre droit au but et tout. Mais bon, Marjorie.
Honestly, we've never seen such an awesome power play. Number 6, the Purple Wedding.
Good. Needs washing down.
Joffrey Baratheon will go down in history as one of television's most hated villains. Despite being so young, his sadistic nature, murderous habits, cowardice, and the abuse he inflicts on Tyrion and Sansa make him an utterly detestable king. Season after season, fans cried out for this little bastard to bite the dust, and the creators answered in spectacular fashion. On the day of his wedding, during one of his normal tirades, the boy king succumbs to a poison known as the Strangler.
It's nothing.
While he was deserving of a much harsher death, watching the tyrant struggle to breathe as his body is left as nothing more than a grotesque husk is wholly satisfying.
T'as kiffé? Attends.
En vendant sur le bon coin tout ce que mon coloc n'utilise pas, je vais pouvoir réserver 2 chambres d'hôtel pour nos vacances. Plutôt que d'en partager une avec...
En moyenne, plus de 300 € dorment dans le placard des Français. Vendez maintenant sur Le Bon Coin.
C'est pas mal.
Le Bon Coin, le bon pour tous.
Number 5, Tyrion on trial. Few would argue that Tyrion Lannister is the best character on Game of Thrones, and while almost every episode is filled with his profound musings and witty dialogue, nothing will ever top his appearance in court. With Tyrion erroneously on trial for the murder of Joffrey Baratheon, several characters give baseless testimonies against him. Incensed, Tyrion demands a platform to confess. Instead, he confesses to not being the monster everyone thinks he is, laying out some hard truths about the way people see him.
I'm guilty of being a dwarf.
You're not on trial for being a dwarf.
Oh, yes, I am. I've been on trial for that my entire life.
As baleful as Tyrion's remarks are, we're absolutely in his corner as Peter Dinklage gives...
Bon, j'ai un peu faim. Je vous mets en pause le temps que j'aille me chercher un truc à manger. J'espère que ça vous dérange pas. Salut, c'est Remois. Faut que je vous ai manqué. Vous avez bien aimé les images pour patienter? Ça me fait plaisir. Je les ai choisies avec beaucoup de soin. Bon, allez, on revient. J'ai pris une pomme. Désolé, j'ai mangé dans le micro, mais bon. Bon, je suis désolé, d'accord.
The performance of his career. Seriously, you would be hard-pressed to find a Game of Thrones moment as dramatically compelling as this.
I wish I was the monster you think I am. I wish I had enough poison for the whole pack of you. I would gladly give my life to watch you all swallow it.
Number 4. Avenging the Red Wedding.
You're not one of mine, are you?
No, my lord.
Walder Frey quickly established himself as one of Game of Thrones' most detestable characters after he hosted and helped organize the deaths of Robb and Catelyn Stark, not to mention Robb's pregnant wife. Vengeance for the Starks comes unexpectedly, however, as a nameless servant reveals...
Je me suis pas lavé les dents ce matin, et dès que je croque dans ma pomme, j'ai un relent de mon haleine.
To Frey that she's killed and baked his sons into a pie.
They weren't easy to carve.
This revelation is quickly followed by another, when the servant girl exposes herself as none other than Arya Stark, who then proceeds to avenge her mother and brother. Her killing of Trant and reclaiming of her name may be worthy of praise, but this death is particularly satisfying. Number 3. Littlefinger falls off the ladder. Littlefinger spent his whole life conspiring against and manipulating people into getting what he wants, using chaos to climb the ladder that is power. So, it was only a matter of time before that chaos came back to bite him for good.
Sometimes, when I try to understand a person's motives, I play a little game. I assume the worst.
Oh, encore. C'était pour des écoles de là. Non, merci. Allez. Ah, merde. Oh, le PC, il lag.
During his time at Winterfell, Littlefinger tries to pit Sansa and Arya against each other, sowing distrust in each. Eventually, Sansa seems to confront Arya in the Great Hall, only to turn the spotlight on Littlefinger.
You conspired with Cersei Lannister and Joffrey Baratheon to betray our father Ned Stark. Thanks to your treachery, he was imprisoned and later executed on false charges of treason. Do you deny it?
I deny it.
Turns out the Stark sisters have been wise to Littlefinger's ways and promptly put him on trial for 7 seasons of betrayals.
I loved your mother since the time I was a boy.
And yet you betrayed her.
I loved you more than anyone.
And yet he betrayed me.
Littlefinger can only blubber and beg for his life before Arya swiftly ends him in one of the show's most satisfying moments. Number 2, the end of the slave masters. During Daenerys' visit to the city of Astapor, she's greeted by a slave master whose vocabulary mostly consists of slurs, slander, and insults towards her. And to this point, as viewers, we're all under the impression that Dany has no idea what he's talking about, and that trading one of her dragons, even for an army like the Unsullied, is a huge mistake. It turns out that Daenerys Stormborn is no fool, and is able to understand the slaver the whole time due to her fluency in High Valyrian. She rewards his malicious words by letting Drogon rain fiery hell down upon him and all his cohorts.
Ça fait trop pitié qu'il y ait qu'une personne dans le chat. C'est toujours le même pseudo.
With the Masters finally dead, Dany and her new army of Unsullied march on. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notification Bolton.
I think that sounds like a wonderful idea.
You gotta give credit to Ramsay. He faces some stiff competition on his way to becoming the most sadistic antagonist in Westeros. Nevertheless, we have to bestow that honor upon the bastard. He tortures Theon, abuses Sansa, has his stepmother and newborn brother fed to the hounds. The list of atrocities he's perpetrated goes on and on. Watching Jon beat his face bloody is definitely worth celebrating, as is the taking back of Winterfell, but Ramsay's ultimate fate is the cherry on top of it all.
Stop! Stop!
As revenge for all the pain he put her through, Sansa unleashes Ramsay's own starving hounds upon him. We all share Sansa's smile as we hear his screams of pain. Did you enjoy this video?
Bon. Je pense qu'on a eu assez de Game of Thrones là. Je nous ai trouvé une petite vidéo avec les cuts du film du Seigneur des Anneaux. Les 3 films. Les 7 cuts, je pense qu'on va se régaler. Bon.
Des cheveux lisses, sans frisottis et protégés de l'humidité. Nouveau Garnier Fructis Diamond Leaf pour senteur de brillance diamant.
Comment fait-on pour que ce qui a un prix à gauche soit un prix bas à droite? Eh bien, on travaille ensemble. C'est la rencontre entre une coque.
Bon, je crois que c'est pas, la vidéo n'est pas ce que je pensais que ça allait être. Voilà. Bon, on va plutôt mettre. C'est compliqué de pas pleurer. Je suis très déçue. Salut, c'est qui? Bah, c'est pas grave, on va plutôt mettre les meilleures scènes. Ça lag un peu. Y a pas de surprise. La surprise, c'est juste moi qui réacte à des vidéos, c'est tout. J'espère que vous allez kiffer le live. Hop. Là, on est parti sur le Seigneur des Anneaux. Puisque c'est le thème de mon cadre. Oui, c'est trop la goat à ce moment-là. C'est vraiment la goat. Trop belle en plus. Madame la directrice. Trop forte.
Happiness starts with you. La vie est belle, l'original et les nouveaux
Je suis un peu perdu là.
comme.
With base 44, a simple sentence becomes your website.
Pourquoi ils peuvent pas passer déjà? C'est parce que la rivière elle est magique ou un truc comme ça, je crois. Bon. En tout cas, je me sens quand j'avais vu ça, je m'étais dit c'est bien joué. C'est le mec qui a rien à dire.
If you want him, come and claim him.
Madame la directrice. Ah oui, voilà. Il fait un sort.
The ring was made in the fires of Mount Doom.
Quel moment ça?
Only that can be unmade.
Bon, je sais pas si c'est un peu chiant ou pas. Vous pensez quoi? Ça charrie pour moi. Ah merde. C'est toi qui bug ou c'est moi? Attendez. Là, je suis sur OBS, comme si je savais ce que je faisais. Mais mais ça bug beaucoup, genre comment ça me bug beaucoup? C'est toi qui bug ou c'est moi? Bon, répondez-moi là. Je vais m'énerver. Bon, vous savez quoi? Je vais vous mettre un peu de musique en attendant. Tu vas chercher le colis? Ok. Tu me l'unboxeras en vidéo. Hein. Attendez, je vais mettre un peu de musique pour détendre l'atmosphère.
Moi, qui? C'est qui? Chat. Le chat fait miaou, miaou. Le chat fait miaou. Fait miaou, le chat miaou. Qui miaulera plus que moi? Qui? C'est qui? C'est qui? C'est moi.
C'est Marfoul Zouzou. C'est Sterzo qui m'a fait découvrir. C'est genre de gars sur SoundCloud, ils font de la musique, genre des remixes et tout, c'est trop drôle.
Moi, c'est toi? Non, c'est moi. C'est moi, je vais miauler. Miaou. Miaou, le chat. Miaou, 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 miaou. Le chat il fait miaou, miaou, partout, le chat il fait miaou, il gambade dans la forêt, tu vois, il gambade, miaou, 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 le chat miaou, ok, le chat fait miaou, le chat, miaou, 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 le chat, tu captes ou pas la mentale, tu captes, moi je gambade dans la forêt, je gambade, il a mangé tout cru comme une je me régale, c'est même pas gros comment je te botte. C'est même pas après, frère. C'est une radio de baiser, frère. C'est une radio de malade mental. Avec Shams, on t'a concocté ça. Tu es même pas prêt. Tu sais même pas, gros. Gamberge bien. Et passe une bonne journée, une bonne soirée.
Sky's easy, the best radio.
Viens dans mon délai, allez, let's go. Ils parlent de moi, mais je les laisse, gros. Je t'inquiète, je suis pas la laisse, gros. On va faire ses fesses, gros. Oh, je fesse, tout. Jamais je laisse, tout. Oh, le grand, il veut me tester, tout. Je sais pas dans ta tête, tout. Je fais des tours dans le quartier, c'est mort. Je lève ma main à des traits, leur dis. Ouais, salaud. Ouais, salaud. Tu m'as trahi mais t'es un bon gars. J'en fais mettre un bida. Je quitte le game quand je me demandais comment je m'appelle. Je te demande une chance, c'est audio de tranquille car tu vas mal dans ta tête. Je mets un condamné, ouais ça fait A7. Je vois la vie coucher quand je capte la A7. C'est que t'es jaloux mais quand t'en cachette. T'es au bled ça m'écoute même mon cassette. Ouais salaud. Ouais salaud. Ouais salaud. Ouais salaud. Ouais salaud. Ça peut te plaquer. Je suis dans le game en claquette. Dans le carré puis faut surveiller. T'as compris des billets. T'as sorti le R1. Tu prends un peu comme billet. Tu veux t'en faire un. Tu peux dire comme un timimi. J'suis pas mais j'crois que t'as timide. J'suis prêt dans les coups de mimi. J'veux pas te baisser alors j'suis timide. J'sais pas ce que c'est gros. J'ai gardé mes valeurs. Donc quand tu me viens tout à l'heure, depuis que tu me dois des lobes, on va se revoir, c'est te dire. Ouais salaud. Ouais salaud. Ouais salaud. Ouais salaud. Ouais salaud. J'sors un peu de plaquette. J'suis dans le game en claquette. Dans le carré puis faut surveiller. C'est pas me prendre la tête. Ouais salaud. Ouais salaud. Ouais salaud. Ouais salaud. J'sors un peu de plaquette. J'suis dans le game en claquette. Dans le carré puis faut surveiller. C'est pas me prendre la tête.
Sky's easy, the best radio.
C'est vrai, la musique. peu de... On peut regarder des rires si vous voulez. Ah oui, on peut regarder des rires. Je crois que j'ai Insta, non. Oh, on s'est connecté, ok. Voilà. Plus tard. Voilà, bon, vous pouvez voir tout mon Insta.
Oh my god.
Oh, j'adore ce mec.
Encore le syndrome de la page blanche. C'est horrible. Pourquoi moi? Si seulement j'avais 1% du cerveau de Elon Musk, je serais si heureux. Peut-être même que je serais une Tesla. Oh non, ma crotte, je voulais dire si j'avais. Maintenant, je suis une voiture. Me as a Tesla. C'est peut-être ça le secret du bonheur. Être une voiture électrique. Bonjour, vous n'auriez pas un peu de sapin magique? L'équivalent des chewing-gums. OMG, une voiture qui parle. Fin.
C'est fort.
Oh my god.
Je bosse, je gagne et je consomme. Je bosse, je gagne et je consomme. Je bosse, je gagne mais je consomme. Des économies, j'en fais pas des tonnes. Je bosse, je gagne et je consomme. Je bosse, je gagne et je consomme. Je bosse, je gagne mais je consomme. Des économies. Je bosse, je gagne et je consomme. Je bosse, je gagne et je consomme.
Oh, stylé. Bien joué. Attends, mais
I used to think that humans are better, but guess what? Now I know that horses are better.
Salut tout le monde, c'est Béo Jumper. Découvrez.
Alors bonjour, je m'appelle Carla Mazuka, je suis en design des médias, parcours édition média design.
Hello everyone, c'est Jacinthe ici, je suis friggin'
This is a definitive.
C'est oh, tout ça fait bien vite comme 3 ans que je suis dans les bois, puis je cherchais pour Bigfoot. Je voulais décoller de la ville, puis que je voulais venir montrer à everyone que je suis la #1 chasseuse of all time, of all the world, of all the galaxy. So là j'ai trouvé Bigfoot, but turns out he ain't nice. Je peux pas tuer quelqu'un nice. Mon plan c'était d'aller le voir avec mon couteau de chasse, puis être comme Bigfoot, it's time to lose the feet. J'allais donner un petit pédicure, puis then le skinner, puis prendre tout son poil, puis me faire des belles affaires. Ben, il était assez nice qu'il m'a tout donné la feu dans le bas de sa douche, puis j'ai fait une purse avec. C'est bien mieux qu'une purse avec des poils de craque de fesses. C'est comme ma tante dit tout le temps. Des poils de craque de fesses is the best. So anyway, j'ai pas pu chasser Bigfoot, j'ai failé. Ça, c'est beaucoup de pressure que TD, j'ai envoyé un message. J'ai googlé Acadie Alter Mind. Je voulais alterer mon state of mind. Je voulais plus être.
Ranking of all the artist buzzwords, with the most buzzwordy at the top and the most normal at the bottom. I just finished my first year of fine art school, so this is everything I've picked up during critiques and writing artist statements. Alright, to start us off, I think resonates is in the middle of the pack here, because sometimes people use it when something stays with them, but also I think it could get overused. Alright, and our first S tier is dichotomy. You're gonna...
Donc voilà, j'ai fait ce projet parce que le sujet en fait des chevaux résonnait particulièrement avec moi, puisque ma grand-mère en fait avait des chevaux dans son jardin, et quand j'étais enfant on allait les caresser. Donc voilà, c'est pour ça que ce projet ça résonne particulièrement avec qui je suis. Voilà.
Tu cherches des éditions que tu ne trouveras.
I hear this a lot during art critiques when you're giving a presentation. I feel like this word is just doing too much when juxtapose is right there. Speaking of, I think juxtapose is a D tier pick. Maybe in grade 10.
Donc voilà, j'ai choisi de juxtaposer ces deux photographies car pour moi, elles fonctionnent bien ensemble.
When you're writing an art statement, this is a great buzzword, but to a buzzword guy like myself, this is just a daily use. Interrogates is an A tier because I feel like it's just doing too much and you should just chill out.
Donc avec ce projet, j'ai choisi à interroger les rapports de force qu'on a en fait entre nous. Voilà, donc j'espère que vous n'avez pas envie de quitter le live.
Nulle part ailleurs, du 5 au 7 juin, la Paris As Book Fair est de retour.
J'ai venu à Porte de Pantin à la ville pour essayer de faire des TikTok. Trop génial, c'est que je suis trop éclaté pour faire des TikTok. J'ai regardé un peu les images, c'est pas ouf. Le spot est incroyable, mais c'est pas ouf.
Ah oui.
Du coup, je suis là, je suis gêné.
Bah beau projet madame, si ça arrêtait de laguer. Vous savez, les gens qui font genre des... J'aimerais trop faire ça une fois, genre les gens qui se mettent tout en costume et tout et qui reproduisent genre vraiment, je sais pas, genre la bataille de Verdun ou des trucs comme ça, genre c'est trop bien, j'adore. Il y a des gens qui s'habillent, genre je sais pas, ils reproduisent genre le jeu de paume, les trucs comme ça là. C'est trop bien, j'aimerais trop en faire.
L'autre jour, je me suis posé une question. Je me suis dit, imagine quelqu'un qui achète une œuvre de Banksy. Comment est-ce qu'il peut savoir est-ce que l'œuvre est authentique de l'artiste ou pas? Bah justement, je me suis renseigné. Il a créé un organisme dédié qui s'appelle le Pest Control. Et c'est la seule structure qui peut te dire si ton œuvre est authentique de l'artiste ou pas. Et c'est ça qui est très fort avec Banksy, c'est qu'il a réussi, malgré le fait que son identité soit secrète et que tout soit opaque chez lui, à créer
Les gars, Banksy en fait, il dit tout ce que tout le monde pense tout bas. Voilà.
un vrai nom sur le marché qui vaut des millions et à faire un intermédiaire entre le côté street art secret et le côté très conventionnel et visible du marché de l'art. Et donc ça, c'est ça qui lui a permis d'émerger sur le marché et d'avoir une valorisation aussi importante. L'autre jour, je me suis posé une question. Je me suis dit, imagine quelqu'un qui achète une œuvre de Banksy. Comment est-ce qu'il peut savoir est-ce que...
Oh, bonjour. Tu viens déjà me voir avant le début des cours? Tu as besoin d'un petit remontant, hein? C'est adorable, vraiment. Approche un peu.
Bien le bonjour, ici Michel de Fantastique. J'ai un concept sur Instagram, je fais de la dédicace. Donc j'écris des prénoms sous mes pieds et je transmets la joie, le bonheur et l'amour par le biais de mes beaux pieds. Donc si le concept de dédicace vous intéresse, n'hésitez pas à contacter mon Instagram qui est michel.the.fitastique. Mon Instagram a passé les 1100 followers
Je pense que
et
je
n'hésitez
vais,
pas à me contacter pour
je vais
la
m'apprendre à
demande de
faire ça
dédicace.
pour donner de la visibilité à
N'hésitez
ma
pas à
chaîne.
me préciser si vous voulez la dédicace postée ou bien la garder pour vous. Donc je vous transmets toutes mes salutations et à très vite. Bien le bonjour, ici Michel de Fitastique. J'ai un concept sur Instagram, je fais de la dédicace. Donc j'écris des prénoms sous mes pieds.
Ela desce, ela sobe, no baile é pressão. Mina linda, perigosa, rouba meu coração. Vai que vai jogando, não perde a razão no batidão.
Martinique, c'est très chic.
J'espère que vous aimez bien avoir un petit
Martinique, c'est très chic. Martinique, c'est très chic. Martinique, c'est très chic. Martinique, c'est très chic. Martinique.
このチャットすったもんだしだってひつさかみ宇宙水たみつたんだり
C'est un cosplay sirène de Bergerac.
だしだってむなさわり汗をぬくってひくらしがなこのチャット
Je suis une baba, 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 baba cool. Et toi t'es pas cool. Tu penses qu'en me manipulant, je serai l'esclave et toi le sergent. Mais moi je suis une super empathe. Donc tu vas finir à quatre pattes. Au fond je suis pas ton ennemi. Je suis ton futur. Quand tu guéris, t'as le droit de te protéger des ruisseaux et des voies lactées. Des voies lactées. Je suis une baba, baba.
Toc toc, qui est là? Toc toc toc, l'enfant maudit. Tic tac, le temps passe. Tic tac, tout s'efface. Toc toc.
Qu'est-ce qui me fait trop mal aux oreilles?
If you're in Paris and you're looking for chicken of any kind, run. Don't walk to Master Poulet Saint-Ouen. POC owned and underfed by the local authorities. This is a hidden gem slightly outside of Paris. Oh my god, the trip is worth it. I mean, look at the LGBT gay flag and the coq-bouillon right next to each other. And would you look at this? It's also right next to the metro station. I mean, look at all those chickens, am I right? For a bit less than 20 euros, we had a whole chicken, plantain, a fried rice, and the infamous green sauce. But don't forget about the chicken donut and the sausage. Oh my god. Cheese alert.
All in all, this restaurant gets a yum.com out of 10 and
De quelle matière les rêves sont-ils faits? C'est dur d'expliquer la naissance d'un rêve, comme c'est dur de comprendre le 6-7. Je pense que la matière des rêves, c'est le 6-7, ou l'inverse. C'est le 6-7 qui est fait de rêves, peut-être. Sacrée question. Scrunch. Je ne comprends plus rien. De toute façon, il doit bien y avoir des enfoirés d'intellectuels pour y répondre. Les grosses bières du capitalisme, putain de merde. Et la grosse crotte à Macron. De toute façon, je ne rêve même plus de je 6-7 all day long. Et pourquoi le travail, ça n'existe plus, hein? Pourquoi, hein? Je vais travailler à Amazon, moi? Mince, je m'égare. Et ici en bas, une représentation de Macron, le petit troll qui vole l'argent. Forêt de merde.
Tout l'été sur la côte, je me balade comme dans GTA. Toute l'équipe est rapta, là j'ai même plus j'étais où.
Le prochain live, on fait des BD comme ça.
Avec le cocktail des voyous. Je me taille, je suis vers l'Espagne, je vais me
Prochain live, ça sera ce soir.
Tout l'été sur la côte, je me balade.
Et vous avez déjà trouvé comment faire pour genre...
De quelle matière les rêves sont-ils
genre
faits?
sur mon bureau ou un truc comme ça. Genre, je dois
C'est
bien
dur
avoir une
d'expliquer
webcam.
la naissance d'un rêve.
Mais des coups, c'est pas une photo?
Ah oui, mais en fait je... Bon mais c'est pas grave, ça fera des souvenirs. Coucou bébé.
Tu es gentil, Jonas. Très gentil. Et très connasse si tu me les casses.
Pour un éternel et meilleur avenir, il suffit de se repentir, accepter Christ comme sauveur et seigneur, lui donner ta vie pour qu'il puisse agir. Ouais.
Je faire la blague parce que je vais sûrement remettre à la rediffusion.
Pour un éternel et meilleur avenir, il suffit de se repentir, accepter Christ comme sauveur et seigneur, lui donner ta vie pour qu'il puisse agir. Ouais.
Tu peux faire la blague.
Ils n'ont pas voulu me tendre leurs mains, donc c'est solo que mes émotions je représente. J'avais la réponse avant les autres, mais dans la classe il y avait déjà une enseignante. Même s'ils en avaient l'opportunité, regarde.
Et si cette chanson d'un thrill
cherche autre chose, va autre part. Je rappe pas pour les négros.
était un slam. J'applaudis toujours après le vol, à part quand je prends l'avion. Je viens, je découpe, je me casse, pas besoin de promo, plan d'action. Le deal est sucré, mais je suis sceptique, gros. Ton regard en dit long. Je voulais cop une Santos XL, mais ma Breitling a dit non. Elle est jalouse et possessive, elle boude même quand je mets des bagues. Dis-moi en commentaire quelle autre chanson tu veux que je fasse en slam. Et si cette chanson donne
J'ai
cherche autre chose, va autre part. Je rappe pas pour les négros.
Était un slam. J'applaudis.
Elle en pose combien?
Et c'est cette chanson de Willy Tub Life était un slam. Je mets de la bœuf dans mon crâne. Je mets un billet sur la table. Je vais m'allumer jusqu'à taré. M'allumer comme un taré. Dis-moi en commentaire quelle autre chanson tu veux que je fasse en slam. Et c'est cette chanson de Willy Tub Life c'est un slam. Je mets de la bœuf dans mon crâne.
En tout cas, je sais pas qui c'est Willy Tub Life, mais bravo à lui. Oh, le PC il a du mal.
Oh, j'ai même pas eu le temps de finir mes ramyons.
Pourquoi ils font toujours ça pendant qu'on mange?
Ma vengeance sera terrible.
S'il vous plaît, regardez.
Oh, j'ai même pas eu le temps de finir mes ramyons.
Pourquoi ils font toujours ça pendant qu'on mange?
Ma vengeance sera terrible.
S'il vous plaît, regardez.
Ce matin, dans le métropolitain, j'ai vu cette affiche qui disait « Envie d'être utile, on recrute ». Eh bien, ce sera sans moi, car par tradition, je ne travaille pas.
C'est bien ce qu'il dit.
Ah, ouh, quelle insulte! Fais-moi signe quand tu auras quelque chose de plus original en stock, espèce de ramassif fécal dégénéré. Passe le bonjour à madame. Mon chou.
I see nobody.
J'ai hâte que perso elle arrive. J'ai hâte qu'elle arrive. Quand elle arrive, ring the bell.
Il est musclé celui-là, on ses cuisses. Oh, c'est chaud le sport. Tu vas crever. C'est pas moi, hein. C'est moi. Allez, Joko, tu vas le faire.
Je crois que c'est mal vu.
Joyeux anniversaire, c'est la fête. Quel âge déjà? Ou c'est un secret?
Puis avec une petite touche de folie. Ouais, on s'ennuie sinon. Déjà que l'humour est très sérieux, mais alors en France, waouh.
Je vais regarder la vidéo que je voulais regarder à la base, vu que personne ne peut regarder mon live.
It's time to unleash the greatest moments of Game of Thrones.
The best thing I've ever seen on television.
Hobbit trilogy might not be as universally loved as the Lord of the Rings trilogy, it still has some really incredible behind-the-scenes material. Showing all the love and passion that was poured into these projects, there are countless hours of behind-the-scenes footage that many fans have never seen, showing everything from wholesome moments and on-set struggles to pranks and pure chaos. We've gone through it all to bring you our top 25 behind-the-scenes moments from the making of the Hobbit trilogy. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. So let's dive in, and hopefully you will find these moments just as unforgettable as we did. I think the work they put into making the dwarf movement in The Hobbit actually feel like dwarfs and not just scaled down humans were great. Terry Notary, who was the movement director, could act with his body, and just by the way he's moving you can instantly see what kind of creature he's trying to mimic.
He's just amazing. He has an incredible ability.
Terry took us through
De singe kératine morphose à la kératine et acide hyaluronique pour une réparation profonde. De singe.
Grâce aux formules uniques des aliments Royal Canin, aidez votre animal à retrouver sa vitalité. Demandez conseil à votre vétérinaire.
a long period of learning how to move as dwarves because they wanted it to be a signature movement that is unique to them rather than a human style of moving.
Dwarves have a deep foundation in their core, and they leave a large footprint.
Humans rise as they walk, whereas a dwarf is low and it just moves like a tank.
They're not characters that are light and that bounce or jump. They're characters that when they move, their feet stay connected to the ground. They're people of the earth.
You concentrate on the center of you and you move accordingly.
I've never seen anything like it. And I'm English, I'm a tea fan, but I've never seen anything like the amount of tea he drinks.
Did you know that Peter Jackson actually has this crazy obsession with tea? It's almost impossible to spot him on the set of The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings without a cup of tea in his hand.
What have you got in there?
Tea for you.
And with the amount of tea he constantly consumed, it also meant that he got really good at balancing with his cup, even if tumbling down a mountain of gold or filming with a camera.
Not a fucking drop spilt.
The funny thing is that even the British actors, such as Martin Freeman, who is a very avid tea drinker, thought that Peter drank ridiculous amounts of tea.
I put my hand out and a cup of tea slides into it. That's what we like.
His assistant actually said that on average he'd bring him around 22 cups of tea every single day, which makes me think that that was probably one of his most important tasks.
And while you're putting that together, I'm going to make another cup of tea.
And then Frodo was going to run off down that hill.
East Farthing Woods. I'm going to surprise him.
Well, go on then. You don't want to be late.
I think one of my favorite behind-the-scenes moments from The Hobbit is actually when Elijah Wood returned to New Zealand to play his short but sweet role in the first Hobbit film.
It's incredible to be back. And in a way, it kind of feels like vacation for me, because I get to return to New Zealand and see old friends. So it's just all fun.
It seems like he enjoyed it so much to be back, and this time in a way more relaxed state, without having the pressure of carrying 3 films as the main character.
Just after Victoria. To see you. Into the
That's right.
to the trilogy.
Yeah. Running off into 1999.
I turned 19 at this location.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
19 today.
I'm 30 now.
So I think both Peter and Elijah were equally happy to be able to work together again in the Hobbit trilogy, even if it was just for a short moment. Filming the bag end scenes in the Hobbit was something of a struggle for Ian McKellen in particular, because the new system they used in the Hobbit forced them to have 2 different sets. This meant that Ian never actually acted against the other actors, other than in rehearsals. He had to listen to audio cues for his lines, look at these little signs to pretend that the characters were there, and for someone who's used to traditional acting, this was a huge struggle for him the first couple of days, even to the point where in the beginning he almost didn't want to do the movie at all.
The task I have in mind will require a great deal
I got absolutely miserable and had a little cry to myself.
It was so distressing and off-putting and difficult that I thought, I don't want to make this film if this is what I'm going to have to do. It's not what I do for a living. I act with other people. I don't act on my own.
We felt sorry for him, being just dumped in green screen land, and we wanted to make him feel a little bit better. We wanted to make him feel loved.
Well, that night I felt pretty miserable and thought perhaps has the time come for me to stop acting altogether if I can't cope with these difficulties.
Luckily, Peter Jackson and the crew did everything they could to cheer him up. First of all, telling him that he was doing just fine. The scene was actually coming together great, but obviously he couldn't really see that because he was just sitting alone in one room. And on top of that, they even had a little celebrate Gandalf day where they redecorated his entire makeup tent with some cool elfish props and other stuff that really cheered up Ian.
Oh, who's done all this? How beautiful. Who does this?
It's an appreciate Gandalf day today. and we do appreciate it.
And I'm really happy that in the end it turned out really well and Ian adjusted to it, and on top of that, most of the stuff he filmed, he wasn't stuck alone in a green screen room. It was just this particular set that was really tough for him.
And suddenly, you know, you're realizing that the goblins that you're filming are not the goblins that you had in your imagination.
Something that a lot of people probably don't know is that most of the goblins in the Hobbit trilogy were actually made as practical effects at first. The incredibly thick masks meant that the actors got overheated in just a couple of minutes.
You've suddenly got people who are incredibly hot, who can barely breathe, who have to have their heads off every 3 or 4 minutes because they're literally, it's so stifling hot with the lights on the set.
And that way they also couldn't see anything and they couldn't move the way they were trained. So ultimately the goblins ended up not looking like Peter Jackson wanted. So after the first day of filming with these outfits, they actually ended up adding all of the goblin heads digitally afterwards. And a lot of the goblins ended up being CGI fully, not just the head but the entire bodies. I think it's a shame that they didn't get the practical goblins to work as well as they had hoped for, but I also do understand why they ended up going for CGI in this case, to make sure that the movement was as natural as possible.
Action!
You might remember at the Desolation of Smaug, when the dwarves are first running from Beorn, that Bomber does this incredible sprint, running past all of the other dwarves. This was actually something that quite surprised the other actors, as Steven, the actor who plays Bomber, was instructed that he had to overtake the other dwarves. And luckily for him, you didn't actually see their feet during this shot, meaning that he could put on his running shoes.
Steven's got the heaviest costume, so he really had to run fast. And I remember Peter, because I was at the front of the line, and Peter said, you know, Dean, just run as fast as you can.
But then when they were actually filming, he outsprinted all of them, so a lot of their reactions on their faces were actually genuine, as they wasn't expecting Steven to be able to run that fast.
Great. Well done, that's fantastic.
We'll buy that, thank you.
And whether you're running from Beorn or just heading out for a calm walk with music in your ears, you probably want earbuds that actually stay in place while you're moving. And that's exactly where today's sponsor, Raycon, works. I want to open a sensor canal and balanced with it, because a lot of moving around that actually stays uncomfortable price. Ring while Raycon does ring the video. Really always plan out everything perfectly is Beorn's axe. They already had it fairly well planned, where there was one normal sized axe that Mikael could use, and then one really big axe that was just gonna sit in the wood and would look a lot bigger if the dwarves were nearby. But as soon as Peter Jackson got on the set and they were gonna start filming with Beorn, he thought that the small axe that was actually gonna be used to chop wood was way too small.
Is that the small scale axe?
Yeah.
It's a bit too small, isn't it?
And creating an axe is no easy feat, but the guy responsible had to jump into a car, drive down to the city, city and tried to find any blacksmith who could create an axe as fast as possible. And they did find one who was able to make one in actually under an hour, after which he rushed back to the set and they could actually get on with the filming. Next up, we've got a quite funny moment with Peter Jackson kind of abusing the actors.
The actors have it really good. I mean, look, they get picked up from home, they get driven in for makeup, they have people fussing over them. It's always like, you know, here's a chair, here's a thing, here's a croissant. No one else has this in their lives. Actors do.
So Peter thought that it was his job to make it unpleasant for them whenever he could.
I mean, they have to learn, otherwise they're going to be very misguided, misbalanced human beings. And so I think it's my role, in a way, to kind of to abuse them.
One example of this was when all the dwarf actors were wrapped in the spider cocoons in Mirkwood.
I'm having fun? All good?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. To remind them that, you know, it's not all about croissants and hair.
It almost seems like Peter made it more uncomfortable than necessary just to mess with the actors.
At the time, you thought, wow, but then compared with the fish, we hadn't had the Pelorus River. The barrows.
Si je t'ai dit 3, 2, 1.
Et partez.
Mais non, apéro spritz. Quoi?
The cocoon was like a beach holiday. It was fun.
A bit of goofing around is probably just good for the morale. There were a lot of shenanigans in The Hobbit, and some of the CGI stuff they had to film looked quite ridiculous without the actual effects. One example of this were the barrels on the wheels, which looks a little bit like these baby walkers you use before babies learn to walk.
It was immensely humiliating. There's this hilarious shot. You see us going through this gate and using our feet to propel us in the barrel, and we look like strange children's toys.
All the latest advancement in film technology, CGI.
Somebody go, guys. And horse.
It looks ridiculous from these camera angles, but from the right angle it's actually perfect, since you can just green screen the background and you won't see their legs anyways.
It was definitely the Flintstones, and that little noise that the Flintstones used to make, that kind of was going through my head every time I had to sit in that.
It's like a pantomime horse.
A very clever contraption, and it's very interesting to see all the different ways that they filmed the barrels in order to get all the shots they needed for the final film. As you probably know, Peter Jackson has a cameo in every Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movie, but did you know that the one in the Desolation of Smaug was actually changed? The initial cameo that they had planned and scrapped was actually that he was going to be some type of spy for the Master of Lake Town.
I was Basket Man, okay? Basket Man. I was a very, very important character.
And just based on the footage that they show here in the behind-the-scenes material, I'm pretty glad that they cut it out, because it would have been very, very strange.
We shot it, and it was in the movie. It was in the cut for probably about 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
But it was so awful that Fran Walsh vetoed it the second she saw it in the editing room, and they cut it instantly.
That's stupid. Get it out. It's got it. Cut it out. So there wasn't really. It was just like that was the way my cameo was described. It was hurtful. Hurtful. I still actually kind of still hurts a bit today.
So they had to find him another cameo. Out of all the dwarves in The Hobbit, I would say that Dwalin was probably the most brutal of them all, the most aggressive and the strongest. And the funny thing is that Graham, the actor who played Dwalin, well, he fit the role maybe a little bit too well. Because at multiple occasions during filming, he broke stuff on the set. And according to the other actors, it seems like this happened a little bit too often.
Pete said to me, okay, you just, set about the door, just go for it.
Okay, great.
You know, I was pushing against it, I was leaning against it, I was kicking it.
It's not here! It's not here! Come here when you're doing it! Stop that,
Apparently it looked good on the camera, but I couldn't really make a fist for some time afterwards.
Genre 3
It was
de
a
mes
pretty
amis
stupid thing
qui
to
étaient
do.
là,
If there was
voire
something
4.
that could be broken on the set,
Maintenant, ouais.
well, Graham found a way.
Sorry, it's always me.
Ah, et je crois que c'est moi.
So if I
So,
see
je crois que c'est
something
moi
that
sur le
doesn't look real, I
scénario.
just say it doesn't look real.
The Hobbit has often been criticized for using a
Parce que
little
genre,
bit
je
too
sais pas,
much
j'ai vu du
CGI
scénario
in
où genre,
some
tu vois,
parts
je
of
vois
the movies.
moi
At
comment
one
ça
point,
rend.
the visual effects
Et
artists were
au
animating
chat,
the coins flowing off Smaug, and Peter Jackson just said it looked wrong.
It's not really right.
He couldn't say why, and the artists didn't understand either, since it was all based on math and physical simulations. In the end, Peter told them to take a bunch of the coins they made for the set to the mocap studio and see how they acted.
Have a mountain of these coins and just tip them down and film them and study them and watch them and see what actually happens, because that's what it has to look like.
And that was all they needed to figure out what was wrong and fix the simulation to look more realistic.
So everything should be working properly now.
Well, they just look heavier. I mean, they look like they're more reluctant to go.
I think this really shows what a great attention to detail Peter has, since he spotted something that none of the VFX artists could. As you probably know, the black arrow in The Hobbit was an heirloom of Bard's family and also a closely guarded secret. This made it a bit tricky to figure out how to hide it in plain sight during the scene without making it too obvious.
And I like the idea of it being hidden in plain sight.
Yeah, it's been there the whole time.
Yeah.
Peter Jackson eventually decided to hang the arrow from the ceiling, but here's the twist. He only told Luke Evans, who plays Bard, and kept it a secret from the actors playing Bard's children.
Then she goes as the dragon going to kill us, and you go. Not if I kill it first. I mean, it's like...
Love it. So during the first take, when Bard pulled the arrow seemingly out of thin air, the reactions you see are completely genuine.
The dragon is going to kill us.
Not if I kill it first.
Oh, yes.
A brilliant touch to bring authenticity to the moment.
3, 2, 1, go!
All of the sets that they built for The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit were really impressive, but something pretty cool is when you see it from the eyes of a child who might not really understand that it's not all real. Because when Kate Blanchett returned to play Galadriel in the Battle for Five Armies, she actually brought her kids to the set, who were at first so scared that they didn't even want to step onto the Dol Guldur set.
Mom, where's the scary man?
The scary man's on set, Monkey.
But I want to see him lost.
I don't know that you want to see him, darling.
Yes, I do, Mom.
Irritation superficielle ici ou là, pour toutes les peaux fragilisées, mixe à nouveau baume Sika, le geste qui répare.
20 secondes, c'est la durée de cette pub. C'est aussi le temps qu'il faut pour apprécier une nouvelle pâte ferme et généreuse de Panzani. Sa texture ferme, sa générosité sans pareil. 20 secondes pour une ferme et généreuse, finalement c'est court car à la fin on n'a qu'une envie. Recommencer. 20 secondes, c'est la durée de cette pub. C'est aussi le temps... Nouvelle gamme ferme et généreuse. Des pâtes, oui, mais des Panzani.
He's been eating small creatures and his beard's covered in blood.
I do want to see him.
That's his first Halloween experience.
Please last.
But after they realized that all the spiky stuff was actually soft and that the people were nice, they wanted to be involved instead, even hanging out with the scary orcs.
Somebody's been having a barbecue. Probably illegal.
We have a special ceremony to perform.
Don't break it.
One of the funniest things they did on the Hobbit set in order to boost the morale a bit is that Zane, one of the producers on the movies, actually made this Wheel of Fortune with a bunch of fun and not so fun prizes that all of the cast and crew could actually win every Friday when they were done with the filming.
You could win anywhere from $20 to $1,000. You could be a loser. That was delicate. You could have a night with Kieran.
Don't tell anyone.
And there is also Hold Eric's Balls.
I got to do that. I got to hold Eric's balls. I traveled 12,000 miles to hold Eric's balls.
All of which seemed to be a really good morale booster for the crew, and it seems like pretty much everyone got a shot to spin the wheel at some point during the filming.
There was a moment in the counting room where PJ was obsessively counting every jewel in the dwarves' hoard.
I think it was probably a nice break to get away from all the stressful directing and planning and just do something very simple, picking out diamonds for a very simple shot.
We had these big bowls of mixed diamonds, you know, with all sorts of different things in there. And we were all really busy and he could see that, so he asked me to set him up a table.
And Peter spent the morning
sorting through all of these gems to get only the little tiny white ones.
It's something I enjoy doing. I could do this all day long. It's good. Thousands of them.
Something that anyone else on the set could have done, but he really wanted to do it himself, and it was clear that he really enjoyed it.
He is having a good time. He loves it, and everyone sees that.
You'll do your lines backwards, but we'll go forward.
Benedict Cumberbatch had to train pretty hard to voice Sauron in The Hobbit. Black speech isn't exactly something you can just wing, and getting it to sound convincing took serious effort. But then Peter Jackson had this wild idea: what if Benedict spoke black speech backwards? Then they would reverse the recording in post, so it would sound like normal black speech, but way more otherworldly.
So then Benedict actually did the black speech backwards. I mean, I find that absolutely gobsmacking.
If it built to a crescendo, I would start with that crescendo and then work backwards.
Yeah, we'll just cut that and do a replay.
It does feel a little bit like playing with voodoo or black magic. You kind of go afterwards, go and speak, you know, the Queen's English and have a cup of tea.
I think one of the more wholesome behind-the-scenes moments from the set of The Hobbit is actually when Orlando Bloom's mom was an extra in the Battle of the Five Armies.
I hadn't really realised what it would mean to my mum to be an extra in Lake Town.
She initially just went to New Zealand to help out taking care of Orlando's son.
He just think he's hiding.
But Orlando convinced Peter to put her in the movie too.
Isn't he a lovely son?
And I think it was just really wholesome to see her interactions on the set and how she was obviously a bit nervous to be in the movie.
Remember to breathe, Mum, okay?
Yes.
Don't worry, it's going to be fantastic. And she was walking around behind the scenes going, oh. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
What's going on? Do my hands come into this?
No, I don't think you need your hands in it, Mum.
A little curious, a little nervous. Here we go, and action.
In the final version, you can actually see her in the very first minute of the movie in this brief little shot.
It was one of those days that we put Jamie in a costume and let him be an actual actor rather than a stand-in. No matter where the camera's pointing, 360 degrees all the way around, he's always there.
When they were filming The Hobbit, Jamie, one of the stand-ins in the movie, they're the people who are in front of the cameras to test out the angles before the real actors get on the stage. Got a chance to actually be a background actor, and well, let's just say he took the opportunity seriously and maybe showed up a little bit too much even.
He made sure he was in every single shot that was filmed, which, you know, can be a problem in the cutting room.
He's in the back of every single
He has managed to, when James and I were cut the scene, we couldn't believe it. He's in the back of reverses, he's in the back this angle, this angle, this angle. And there must be twins or triplets, because he's sort of in several places at once. The little bastard manages to get himself in front of everybody camera.
I said, Master! No!
What a great day. It's a great day for stand-ins.
Great day for stand-ins.
And then there's the second group, who treats it as an opportunity to just f*** about.
One thing that I really liked about The Hobbit is the fact that Peter Jackson actually gave all the dwarf actors a lot of freedom when it came to some scenes, especially when they weren't the main characters in focus. One example of this is the scene where the dwarves are gearing up in Erebor with old dwarf armor, and Thorin is giving the mithril shirt to Bilbo.
Master Buggins!
All the dwarves in the background could basically do what they wanted, which caused for some chaotic scenes.
The character who has an axe in his head and he had to find a helmet that he was going to bust a hole in.
William Kirchler decided that he was going to be hammering a helmet in the back of shot, but it kind of kept sort of almost hitting us in the face, so we decided we'd have to get rid of the hammer, so we kind of stole the hammer.
We would hide it as a joke to see if he could find it.
I'd go to my place.
De Sange Kératine Morphose, le premier soin kératine professionnel. De Sange, la compétence professionnelle chez vous.
Sheba, ce que veulent les chats.
It's not there. Aidan Turner was hiding my stuff.
It was just like being back at school.
I ride in on an elk played by a horse named Moose.
One of the trickiest things when filming The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit was handling all the horses. Lee Pace, who played Thranduil, experienced this firsthand with his horse, Moose.
Moose is the biggest horse in New Zealand. Huge Shire horse. He's like 18 hands high. That was his first time on set, too. He shit all over the place. That's what I did on my first time on set. I had this one day when I was shooting with him where when I would say my line, he could feel it coming and would start kind of moving out of his mark, and it would never fail.
And it would happen again.
We've come to tell you, payment of your debt to the man has been offered and accepted.
And again.
Payment of your debt has been offered and accepted.
And again.
We have come to tell you payment of your debt has been offered. That's unbelievable. Move.
And to Lee's credit, he always tried to continue with the scene, but there is only so far you can go, especially when suddenly Thorin is talking to a horse's behind. I think Lee handled it with grace though, and I'm glad they filmed these scenes with a real horse instead of just a rig, even though the end result wasn't shown as a horse. Something that I absolutely love about Ian McKellen and the way he played Gandalf is that he was a big Tolkien fan, and Ian would even read specific chapters in the book for each day of shooting.
I would have it there to just remind myself of the feeling of the scene as Tolkien had written it, and that in fact, perhaps the way I played it in the film.
And sometimes he would even bring the book on the set and actually ask for changes in the script based on what was in the book. In particular, the line where he asks Thorin to return Bilbo to him unharmed.
If you don't like my burglar, please don't damage him.
Is it in the book? Okay.
Because this line is straight from the book, but wasn't initially in the script.
If you don't like my burglar, then please don't damage him. Return him to me.
And I think it really shows how perfect Ian was for this role, and the fact that he didn't just act whatever he was delivered, but he came with his own ideas and feelings on how to perfectly portray Gandalf.
We were told to sort of exaggerate the horse riding movements.
One of the most inappropriate and hilarious behind-the-scenes moments from The Hobbit is actually when Evangeline Lilly and Orlando Bloom filmed on a green screen horse, because some of the shots was made with a real horse, but for safety reasons some of it was done in a fake green screen horse, and they were told to exaggerate the movements of the horse.
We were both moving in rhythm.
Which, yeah, ended up looking quite inappropriate.
Ha! Looks like she's riding me. Hard and fast. And it was kind of funny.
It looked like elf.
Sorry. So we had to sort of mix it up. It was like, well, maybe, you know, the front of the horse does something different to the back, because otherwise it really looks like...
So yeah, luckily it didn't look that bad when it was put in the final film.
Lube me up, darling.
Did you know that the extended edition scene of Biffer losing his axe in The Hobbit was actually the result of a little competition, where Peter basically asked everyone to come up with ideas on how Biffer was gonna lose his axe, and the winner, for some reason, gets a frozen chicken.
Not a very good prize.
Not if you're vegetarian, no. And we all ran back to our desks and to our workshops and just started spinning ideas.
This is a quest for the prize.
That was our list.
Everybody's trying to win the frozen chicken.
And after everyone's ideas, at the end, Peter actually came up with the idea that they ended up using.
It was just amazing to get to the set one morning, and he had come up with this brilliant scenario.
Biffer does a headbutt right into the bloody orc, so it should be like a rugby scrum, and you back the guy over a cliff.
So I guess he won his own chicken.
Okay, now let's have a look.
We told you not to bite.
Peter Jackson truly is the master of pranks, and when it was Orlando's last day on the set for The Hobbit and he was actually filming that final blow to Bolg, they decided to prank him by playing the Fellowship of the Ring music.
And they were trying to find it because nobody had it. Couldn't believe it. This is Peter and Fran and basically the whole crew of the Lord of the Rings, and nobody had the fucking track.
This guy right here, 85 people right now on double time, waiting for this guy to find a fucking song.
And it was hilarious because we had to find it on YouTube.
3, 2, 1, action. Go on, go.
track. I was like, memories come flooding back.
And there you have it, 25 of our favorite behind-the-scenes moments from the making of the Hobbit trilogy. We hope that you found...
Bah, je pense que... Bon, il n'y a vraiment plus personne. Deux viewers. Ah bah d'accord. C'est qui le deuxième viewers? Bon, ben... Le live va se terminer. Ça dure combien de temps? Eh, presque 2 heures. Ça, c'est fou. J'allais dire réussir à tenir 2 heures sur juste des vidéos react YouTube. Bon, on peut dire que sur les 2 heures, il y a à peu près 1h40 de vraiment react intensif. Mais bon, c'était sympa. Je pense que la prochaine fois, je vais faire un truc un peu plus poussé. Avec, je sais pas moi, du dessin peut-être. Du dessin, ou alors si je trouve un moyen de stream la Switch, peut-être de Tomodachi Life ou du Zelda. Non, pas du Zelda, j'aimerais l'utiliser. Mais du Tomodachi Life, ce serait bien. Si je réussis à le faire, ça serait cool. Donc bon, ben voilà, hein. Bonne journée. Salut!